All right, let's talk about something that most people completely overlook in fitness, the ROI. We all think about ROI in business and finances and even in our time, but when it comes to fitness, people don't always think the same way. They look at calories burned or how sore they are or how much the scale moved. And that's why so many high achievers are frustrated. They are investing, but they're not getting a return, unknowingly wasting efforts.
And the real kicker is that most people within their fitness think that they're doing everything right. But in reality, by doing everything right, they're wasting a lot of their time. They're wasting a lot of money, maybe on supplements, as well as just simply their energy. It's very ROI negative.
And you wouldn't just keep pouring money into a business that never profited, but you're pouring effort into a fitness plan that never pays you back. So ROI in fitness isn't just about aesthetics. It's about energy, productivity, stress resilience, confidence, and focus. So today we're breaking down the fitness ROI you're probably missing and what it looks like when you start treating your health like the most powerful investment that you can make. And this whole idea of fitness ROI is what we'll be diving into even deeper into our webinar. So if you're listening right now and you're actually nodding your head and you're like, oh yeah, that's me, go ahead and grab your spot. The link is in the show notes, but let's keep unpacking this right here.
So let's get started with the most common ROI that people see within fitness, which is going to be the calories that they're expending, the frequency that they're working out, how fast the scale can drop. Those things are going to really drive what they believe to be what they're gaining from the exercise that they're doing.
And don't forget the classic of thinking harder equals better ROI. That's what we run into a lot again with those high achievers is that more cardio, less food, more hours in the gym. But we often see that the return is burnout, hitting plateaus, and maybe even weight gain.
And it's easy to get caught up in more, because at a time where you were consuming less calories, you started to see the scale weight going down. And then you're like, okay, well, then I need to just continue to push this envelope further and I'm going to get more of a response. When in reality, that is causing a downstream cascade of just negative actions that they're not being aware of.
Yeah. And I remember there was a time where I really wanted to grow my glutes. I mean, I still always want to grow my glutes, but I was in a place that I was just trying to train legs every single time that I was in the gym to be able to see that growth. And I was thinking like, I saw progress with 1 or 2 leg days. More leg days is only going to result in more progress. And what it ended up was that I ended up really inflamed. I wasn't able to actually push myself in those sessions. And then I didn't actually grow. I actually went through a period where I felt like I was hitting a plateau for a very long time because I was just in this mindset of like, I need to do more and more.
I have so many examples that would fall into this category where I had a season of time where I would do 2-a-day workouts because I thought, again, more would be better. I had a season where I was taking every supplement under the sun because, again, I thought more was going to be better. And then I also have gone through bulking phases where I thought, if I just eat as much food as humanly possible and the scale continues to go up, that I'm going to somehow all that scale going up is going to be me gaining muscle. And all 3 of those did not translate in the response that I wanted. And what we're teaching within the webinar is going to be the things that really shifted that understanding and that mentality for me. It's absolutely life-changing in my eyes.
Yeah. And most people, again, miss the point because ROI in fitness isn't just about the scale or calories. It's about, again, that energy, that productivity, that stress resilience, confidence, longevity. And so let's really break down some of those things and what that ROI looks like.
Within the ROI for energy, I would say that it's the most connected to the fact of like, it isn't just about burning the calories. It's much more about how you're fueling your body and how you're training in a smart fashion. And by doing so, you're not dragging through your workday. That is probably the number one thing that our clients report back is like, they're having more energy throughout their work. They're more focused throughout their work. They're sharper throughout their work. And even furthermore, they're finding themselves being far more present within the time with their family. And that's something that from a relationship with their significant other is strengthening that, but then also strengthening the relationship they have with their kids. It is so ROI positive to have this in place within the energy. And when we talk about the confidence component of things, looking great is awesome. simply looking better is fantastic, but it's not going to be the driving force for you to continue showing up every single day of just simply looking better. And the people that I see sustain looking better is that they become obsessed with just feeling better and realizing how much more confident they can be when they go into those meetings, when they go on the dates. They have such better self-trust because they continue to show up for the promises that they've made for themselves. And the last thing is going to be with the time. And this is something where we are often wasting time hopping from program to program and getting obsessed with what's new, what is something online that maybe I can do with a friend. And it's just like never making full progress because we're just bouncing from thing to thing. And by investing your time into someone who has invested a metric ton of time into the thing that you're wanting to learn and wanting to be better with, allows for you to not only save months for yourself, but potentially years, and make progress that's going to be far better sustained over the long haul.
Low reps is best.
High reps is best.
Fruit is so
It's
good.
terrible for you.
You should lift heavy.
High reps,
Carbs
low
are
weight.
needed.
Keto
Squats
for
are
life.
bad for your
Squats
knees.
are great
You
for your
should
knees.
squat
Knees over
ass to
toes.
grass. It's fine. It fits my
Macros
macro.
is for idiots.
When there are so many mixed messages going around, it's hard to know what you should even do or focus on. But that's exactly where physique development one-on-one coaching comes in. You might have heard of online coaching or even hired a coach before, but we believe in teaching you the why behind what we do while truly taking your life into consideration. We want to train, educate, and empower you to reach your goals and help you to stop spinning your wheels and just finally feel good. And hey, we're here to help you look good too. You need you. Your health is your wealth. So join Physique Development and let us be the last coach you ever need. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with all of those. And I want to talk a little bit more about a few of those other aspects, like your mental ROI. So imagine not having to sit and wonder all the time of if you're doing the right thing and being in a place of figuring out what to do. That's often what I hear on calls is just like, oh, I'm spending hours looking at what to do and then trying to decide if what I'm doing is the correct thing to do. And that mental load can never be easy to carry because it is something where this isn't like your expertise for a lot of people when it comes to fitness. Like it's always great to learn about your body, but when it comes into more of the nitty gritty, like I'm not going to go and try to figure out how to do, I don't know, fix my car by myself. I'm going to go take that into someone. And so it's just that mental ROI of not being in a place where it's draining you even further because again, you don't have the answers and then you're constantly spinning your wheels. And then we talk about the aspect of stress, and a smart fitness plan actually buys down stress. It's able to give you back flexibility in your life. It's not just another thing on your plate. It's the thing that allows you to carry that plate better and be in a spot where you truly can manage that stress. Like I talked about, of like stress resilience is such an important thing. And I think a lot of high achievers, again, they get into that more, where they just think like, oh, maybe I should take a break. And it's like, no, you're being a pussy, keep going. And that's what their brain is telling them. And then they're stressing their body further and they don't know how to buy down that stress and they don't know how to manage or carry that stress. So then it just pushes their body further to the limit and not getting that return that they really want there, which then even goes into like the longevity aspect of it. As this is something where we're very big on future proofing and really being able to look at how this looks like for life proofing as well. So it's something where every meal, every rep that you're like depositing for yourself moving forward. And it's something where I always like to think about future me. Like, how is this going to help out future Sue? And making sure there's even a future to think about in those instances. And that's why we often talk about like, we want to be the last coach that you ever need. We want to teach you this and how it truly applies to your life so you can keep it for your life. Not that you're stuck with a bunch of rules you have to memorize and then just be like, oh, this is always so hard and restricting, but really being able to see how does this work in my life that I can have that longevity instead of just, well, I've seen weight loss with this before. Okay, did you keep the weight off? Because that's what success is to me. Like you just losing 10 pounds, anyone can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. You can lose it. Can you keep it off? And can you live a life that works for you? And I think that's, again, that longevity ROI we always want to keep in mind.
And speaking of longevity and just knowledge in general, I have a client that comes to mind right now. I work with a lot of coaches and entrepreneurs. And this client specifically, when we were working to bring her on board, she was like, I'm not suffering enough yet to need help, which I thought was a crazy statement to make, because she was not feeling good in her body. She was not sleeping well. She was feeling like she was constantly redlined and very overwhelmed with stress on a day-to-day basis. And somehow, because she was the high achiever, because she was so hardworking, she had normalized so much of the suffering that it was just like, this isn't bad enough yet. And unfortunately, for a lot of people in her shoes, they're just going to continue to normalize the suffering. So it's never going to be bad enough to really need help until it forces them to get help. And so I was really happy for this client specifically because we were able to start working with her. And over the last 5 weeks, we have improved her digestion tenfold. She has started to finally sleep. She was getting less than 30 minutes of REM and deep sleep, and now has nights where she's getting 2 hours of REM sleep. She's seeing progress in the gym on a very regular basis. Her body has dropped a ton of inflammation, and she is actually able to absorb the nutrients that she's taking in. And before we started working together, she was so committed to training 5 to 7 days per week. And guess what? She's now training 4 days per week and making far more progress within the lifts that she really wants to see progress in, as well as what she's seeing within her body. And now that we have been able to nourish her body and put her in a spot that she can finally diet like she wanted to when she came to us, because that was not a possible goal within her current setting, but because we improved the habits and we put her in a better place, that more was not the answer. Now she's set up to actually see fat loss in a very predictable as well as sustainable way that she can maintain the fat loss after our time has concluded.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited for her to get into that dieting phase. And it's just been so cool seeing her progress in just a few weeks, because she was in a place where she was romanticizing and normalizing the struggle to a certain degree. And it's something where I have to remind clients, especially again, those high achievers that are pushing hard, they're always looking for more. It can be a double-edged sword, is like, stop romanticizing the struggle. Like, struggle without results is just wasted effort. And being able to really recognize that and be like, hey, I don't need to struggle or like grind just to say that I'm doing it. I need to make sure that this makes sense for me. Because that also reminds me of my client who was in a place where she was working night shift sometimes. She also had 2 kiddos and was just in a place where she kind of was always thinking like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or like, there's not enough time in the day. And that was like kind of her mantra constantly. It was like, there's not enough time. Like, this is just how my life was. And she had so normalized everything that was going on. But for us to finally get her in a place of being able to work with her schedule to get sleep nailed down, and then be in a place where we actually fed her more, took down the training days, because she was being at the gym, or not at the gym, she was being at work for 12 hours overnight and then trying to train right after it. We were able to bring down her training days, get her some more food, and really work more on scheduling her week and scheduling her life, instead of her being like, well, there's just enough time, so like, why even schedule these things? We were really able to put things in place so that she actually felt like she had way more time in a day, and she was finally recovering and then finally able to see those results, where before she just felt like she was pounding the pavement of like, I'm working really hard, but she wasn't seeing those results that she really wanted.
And so let's flip it and look at it from a lens of, for the people who are working so hard and they're just like, I'm doing task after task and not necessarily getting too caught up in what they're going to have as a return on that investment that they're putting in. They're just like, I'm working so hard, thus at some point it's going to flip. Like, what are they missing out on?
What I feel like people in that situation are really missing is thinking about, again, the cost. So it's not just about the price of something, but truly the cost of what that is going to be, again, on the positive or the negative. So it's the cost of your time. So years of effort with very little to show for it. And it's also the cost of your energy. So training that drains you instead of fueling you, and can even get you to a place where you're not even excited to go and do those things that you do enjoy doing. It's also going to cost you your confidence to a degree, because if you're doing quote unquote everything right, but not seeing results, you start to believe that maybe you're the problem. And again, maybe I just need to try harder. And then often you also end up with burnout, plateaus, and injuries along the way as well.
And worst of all, in my eyes, is that you start to resent fitness overall and start to say that working out somehow doesn't work for you, or eating well doesn't work for you, or tracking macros doesn't work for you. Like that, those are not statements that can be true. you do not have a system or a setup that does not work for you in those things, because fitness and resistance training have to make a way into your life for you to have the best and best life, as well as the most longevity. So if you're training 2 days, if you're training 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, it's all what fits in the chapter for you currently. And so to be in this place where you are resenting fitness and resenting the opportunity to improve for yourself is just a really crummy place to be.
Yeah. And it reminds me of my client, Danielle, which was in a place where she was doing a lot of these things and just felt like, well, I just don't know if I can ever lose fat. This is just kind of how my body is. I've tried everything. I've done these different diets. I'm doing cycle classes. I've tried doing Pilates. I've tried weight training. The list went on of her being like, I've tried everything. I can't see results. And this is just how my body is. And I just need to go really low calorie to be able to see these changes. And we were able to be in a place and really look at where her focus was and shift that and be in a spot where we really focused on her digestion and recovery in those things. She was able to drop over 10 pounds and be able to be in a spot where she lost all of that without even dieting. We were just able to lower inflammation, finally get her digestion in the right spot, and get her to a place that she could actually listen to her body, because she was just compounding thing on top of thing and not really reflecting or understanding how to review what success really was. Because it was just, is the scale moving? And if it isn't, then I need to do more. And so we were really able to look at, okay, what metrics are we looking at that really equal success for us? And how do we need to feel for this to be sustainable? And it was something where she was married and she was like, wow, my husband's even like, I'm so much more enjoyable to be around. She was able to finally like go out to eat because she had convinced herself like, I can't go out to eat and still see results, or I can't have any alcohol and still see results, or I can't have any flexibility. I need to stay on a meal plan and like be like, keep my head down. And so it was something that was really great to see, of not only that weight loss, but then also that confidence that she was able to gain in herself and how she was able to live her life, and how that translated to her relationship and just the dynamic of her relationship as well. And even being able to show up and work better. And it was so cool to see, of just like, hey, we didn't need to just pound ourselves into the payment. We just needed to make sure that we are focusing on what was right for you, and to be able to really understand what results or success looked like to you.
Are you sick and tired of your glutes not growing? Turning around in the mirror and seeing a board for a booty? I've been coaching for nearly a decade, helping thousands of women reach their goals. The most common goal: grow my glutes. Women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s able to grow their glutes with the guidance of my training programs. And for all this time, I've kept my best glute growth secrets only for my one-on-one clients. And that changes today. We just released our 12-week glute growth program in the PD training app. It is a 4-day program with exercise and volume adjustments every 3 weeks. You can easily access the program through our app and track every single workout. Each exercise will have a detailed video teaching you exactly how to perform each and every movement. And guess what? I am no longer gatekeeping. I'm sharing every single one of my best glute growth secrets inside this program. Because you are awesome and I want you to have this program, I'm going to give you $25 off, making it a fraction of what you spent at Starbucks this past month. Use code POD. The link to purchase will be in the description. Now let's get back to the show. And that's a very common thing that we see within our clients specifically. What are the steps that we really take as we teach our clients to take that first step to have better return on their investment within their fitness?
Yeah, one of the first things that we really recommend is to audit your investments. So audit how you are spending your time, your energy, your money. Is it compounding or is it draining? And this is something that we really do have clients. We either go through their schedule with them, or just being able to see what they're stressed about, how they're spending that time and energy, to really figure out like, what is going in. We need to know the inputs and the outputs to be able to make those decisions.
And the second thing we look at is going to be the overall input as well as the output of your body. So it being your nutrition, your movement, your sleep, and really trying to hone in on exactly what is the weakest link of everything. Because if I come to you and I say, you need to improve your sleep, you need to be better with your nutrition, you'll be like, no shit, I know those things. Like, you're not telling me anything new. But where we come in is going to be able to give you a roadmap of this is the one that's going to move the needle the most. Let's put a lot of our focus here, invest, and then be able to move to the next thing, because by investing in each of these little categories, we'll be able to influence the next one. And by fixing the weakest link, we'll have an opportunity for that to bleed into the others and making the following ones that we fix a easier overall process. And so that's in big part to what we'll be teaching throughout the webinar.
Yeah. And the third step is that we really look and want clients to think like investors. If we want to think that small, consistent deposits matter so much more rather than random, massive efforts. And so just like money compounds, so does health. So we're really looking for consistency. And we make that very clear when it comes to expectations. It's like we are not expecting perfection. And so you cannot expect that from yourself. That is not what the expectation is whatsoever. And so that really helps within clients of like, hey, something is better than nothing. How can I make something really habit driven instead of just rules driven and make this really apply to my life? And so that helps it break it down, also take away that pressure while still working towards a result. I think that's a big thing of like, you can still like challenge yourself without having so much pressure on yourself that you're kind of like stuck where you can't make those results forward. And so that's where it's helpful to have someone that's like, hey, I see the whole plan here. This is how we need to focus on things. And then it can be like, okay, that's what I need to put that time into. That's how I need to compound things right now.
This makes me think of a client of mine that I'm working with currently. He's a former Division I athlete and works in real estate currently. He's had previous coaching experiences outside of playing college athletics where it was still driving home the all or nothing mentality. You need to work harder. If he didn't see the scale going down, he was scolded for not doing things properly, and just honestly a coaching method that sucks and is focused on beating the person down. Don't recommend it. It happens a lot though. I'm sure you listening here can probably relate in some way. And what we've really worked on is allowing for him to live his life. He's got kids, he's got travel, he goes on golf trips. We have to be able to incorporate those things because those are always going to be there, but he still needs to be in great health. So how can we work around those things or work with those things and said better? And we've been able to really construct a game plan over this time frame where he's been able to create consistency relative to thinking, okay, I have to be absolutely perfect and go as hard as possible, do as much cardio as possible, do as big of a deficit as I possibly can, and just destroy myself in as short of a period of time as possible and pray to God I can hold on to these results. And that's never worked out for him. And so over the time of us working together, he's been able to lose near 20 pounds over in a 16-week period, which is still a really good rate of overall fat loss. But the big difference here is that we have constructed a plan that allows him to go on those golf trips, allows for him to spend time with his family and spend time with his kids, that is allowing for him to still be in great health, because he's also strengthened his overall purpose of why he's getting in better overall shape. We talked earlier about being fixated on, I just want to look better. That's great, but we've got to generally dig a little bit deeper than just wanting to look better. And he wants to be very healthy for his kids as they get older. He wants to be able to play with them and do those things. And that gives him enough of a nucleus of like, dude, I've got to figure this out. And so that's another thing, not that we're going to get into the nitty gritty for you specifically in the webinar, but something that we're going to be talking about throughout the webinar for sure.
Yeah. And he was someone who has like gained and lost the same weight over and over again in his life.
And he's been able to keep the weight off as we've continued. Like right now, we've gone through ebbs and flows of getting into maintenance because travel and life. Like we can't diet when we are on the road for 14 hours at a time. We can, but at the same time, there's trade-offs. And so it's like, if you're in contest prep, you're going to have to make it work. It's going to suck and you're going to have to just make it happen. But in a real life scenario, where can we make compromises to stay within a good shooting range rather than it being like, absolutely, I'm 100% on or I'm not tracking at all. And that's the one thing that he really drove home with me is like, that's how I thought about everything before working with you. And now I'm in this place where I can really approach things and be like, okay, I can't be perfect, but how good can I be? And that's what we're aiming for.
And if you've been listening to this and realizing you've been measuring your ROI all wrong, because again, we need to think about it's not just, okay, am I getting results? Am I getting results that fit with my lifestyle that I can maintain and that feel good to do? And so if you've been measuring ROI all wrong, that's okay. Most people do. A lot of people do. And you have other things on your plate. Like you are being an expert in your field and worrying about your life right now.
And this is what we're teaching in the webinar. In 45 minutes, you're going to get so many tools and resources to take a better look at the ROI you're getting from your fitness and your nutrition and just how you're overall approaching your health. You can really think of it as finally getting the results without the guesswork.
The link is in the show notes, and this is a free live webinar, but we are limiting the seats. So grab your spot and make sure that the energy that you put into fitness finally gives you the return that you have been missing and really turning that busy into better.